Rational and irrational numbers. Rational numbers can be written as fractions. Some examples, therefore, of rational numbers would be like 3/4, 8, or even kind of crazy large fractions like 7,342 divided by 50,547. As long as it can be wrote as a fraction, it's a rational number. Irrational numbers can be written as endless, non-repeating decimals, and they cannot be written as fractions. So examples of an irrational number would be like pi, the square root of 2, or e. These are numbers that will go on forever in the decimal form and not repeat. So a little exercise to do with this, we're going to place some numbers on a number line and classify them as rational or irrational. So first let's classify them. So we have -1/2. Well, since it's presented as a fraction here, we know it's a rational number. Next we have -pi. And as we said above, that's an example of an irrational number. And that's because it's an endless, non-repeating decimal. And an approximation of that is 3.14159,265, and it just continues on. Since we have -pi, there's a little negative in front of that. E is another example of an irrational number that we showed above. And E is approximately 2.71828. And it also just will continue on with non-repeating decimals. Looking back up to our list here, we have 0.9. Well, 0.9 is a decimal, but it has a definite end to it. And we know we can also write that as a fraction, like 9/10. So that's going to be a rational number. 5/8, as the fact that it's written as a fraction already shows us it's rational. And we have the square root of 2. And this can be kind of misleading to think about, but it's going to be an irrational number. Because if we thought about writing it out as a decimal, it's an endless, non-repeating decimal. Now, you could say, yes, you can make a fraction that's the square root of 2/1, but you can't make a fraction that is just two whole numbers in your numerator and denominator that is equal to the square root of 2. And that makes it irrational. Our last number we have here is -5/2, and since it's a fraction, we know it's rational. So we're now putting these on our number line. Let's go ahead and put our rational ones on first. So we have -1/2. That'll be about here somewhere. These are just kind of approximately where they'd be. And then we have 0.9. We have 5/8, and if you think about 5/8, a little more than 4/8, so it's a little bit over 1/2. And we have -5/2, and if we would put that in a decimal form, that's going to be -2.5, so that's going to be down here. Now looking at our irrational numbers, we said -pi is about -3.14, so we'll put that here. E is 2.71. And the square root of 2 is 1.41. So you can see that although these numbers are very different, because they're not, we have a mixture of rational and irrational numbers, they can all still be put on the same number line.